Hello everyone, Basic Ollie here. Hope you're all doing well. Welcome back to another video on this channel. Now, I hope you're enjoying the first week of the new season, so season 3 on iRacing in 2025. I've been enjoying it. Certainly at Daytona with the new GT3 cold tyres, it's been quite the challenge, shall we say. And many people have died during the first lap. So my condolences to you if you have this week actually died or yeah. But regardless, I wanted to make a video thinking about how iRacing has changed so much since I started playing the sim. I first started the sim in January 2021 when I did my first ever special event, Daytona 24-hour, back in 2021. So I've been doing this for about 4.5 years now, and I've loved every second of it. It's been absolutely superb. And over those 4.5 years, iRacing has changed quite dramatically, quite a bit. There has been many updates, many improvements, such things as rain being added and the GT3 cars being updated with new tyre models. I mean, if you think about it, last year I think we still had the old McLaren and Ford GT in the GT3 lineup, but that has now thankfully changed, and we have a very much updated and refreshed GT3 roster, shall we say. But yeah, I was thinking about all those kind of updates that we've had in the last 4.5 years, and what kind of updates or quality of life updates I would like to see relatively shortly, if possible, on this sim. Now, these are going to be more quality of life updates as such, not actually going to be brand new content, but stuff I think that could be added to the sim with a relative ease that could just make it that next level to, you know, kind of make it the ultimate sim where you can't really argue that anything else is better. Now, of course, people always argue it's the internet, and people will always kind of defend or swear by the sim that they love the most, and that's absolutely fine. But for me, I kept thinking to myself, what could iRacing actually add to the sim to really just take it to that next level? So this is what this video is going to be. I'm going to show you 5 things, I'll talk you through 5 things I think iRacing could implement into the sim to really just take it to that next level, and 5 things I think you boys and girls would like to see as well. So without further delay, let's crack on with the video, shall we? Okay, number 1 on the list for me personally is safety cars in special events and endurance races. This can be done. We know safety cars are a thing in the sim already. It's already in the oval circuits, and it's quite well implemented. Now, on the road side of things, it is a little bit more difficult because you do feel as if they could do this already, but it's not done because people basically cheat the system. I.e., for example, if you've got someone who's in P5, who potentially is fighting for a podium, and they've got a teammate who's back in like P30, they could just basically purposely park the car in the middle of the track, which would cause a safety car and therefore gives P5 an advantage of basically catching up with the cars up ahead. So I do believe that's why it's actually implemented. But regardless of that, I still would like to see it done because it is done in ovals. And, you know, if people start doing it in road races, then they should be reported. And hopefully, fingers crossed, just the fact that they've got reported and potentially banned for it, or, you know, a vacation would be enough to make people stop doing it already. It's a thing in oval. It doesn't happen in oval. You know, it works pretty damn well. So it would be nice to see it in special events and endurance races. Don't get me wrong. I don't think it will potentially work in sprint races because, let's be honest, in the GT Sprint or whatnot, we'll never have a bloody race in the first place if that's going to be the case. But for endurance races and special things, I think it should be done. Or maybe some slow zones, some 60 zones, you know, like they do in real life racing. If there's a crash between multiple cars, let's just say we've got 3 cars and the sim's detected that there is 3 4Xs, then a slow zone in that sector or something along those lines will be activated, and you approach it and it says slow zone in 3, 2, 1, like almost like when the pit box comes up, and you have to be going at pit speed limit for an X amount of time until you're out of it. I think it will only make the sim better, and I think it'll make people want to stay for endurance races, and I think it will mix up the strategy, especially when there's no rain as well. It will make it really interesting, I think, and it's just one of those things that can be added that shouldn't be too difficult. Currently, right now, endurance racing is fine the way it is, but I just want to see an improvement, and I think adding safety cars, automatic safety cars for when there is contact with X amount of cars or slow zones, I think would make it really interesting. And I just think it would just make the races a lot better. I really, really do. So for me, personally, I would love to see some sort of safety car system, slow zones, whatever you want to call it, for the endurance races such as 6 hours and special events. Can it be done? Yes. Should it be done? Yes. Will we see it? I'm not so sure. Okay, next up on my list at number 2 would be limited tyre sets, again, for endurance races and special events. At the moment, you get as many as you like. And we know in real life endurance racing, that is not so much the case. You do have even a selection of soft, medium, hard tyres, and, you know, you have limited sets as well. But in iRacing, you can kind of just have as many tyres as you like right now. And I personally would like to see that changed once again, because I think it would just improve the racing for endurance racing. It really would. To have limited tyre sets. Let's just say we got 6 hour Le Mans, and we've only got 4 tyre sets for the whole race. It means at some point you might have to double or triple your tyres. It can easily be done at Le Mans right now in any car, but because the tyre and fuel changing is done at the same time, every time you pit, you basically just change tyres anyway. So there's really not much strategy going on at the moment when it comes to these longer races. But if you added limited tyre sets, again, something that can easily be done because it's already in oval. There's only a certain amount of tyres you can have in an oval race. So it should be done. It should be done. It should be easy to implement. And I think it should be something that iRacing should seriously consider looking into, because it just would make the endurance races a lot better. It would add strategy. It would add the fact that you've got to do doubles and triples, make it a little bit more difficult on the stints. I just think it can be done. I just think it can be done, and it should be done. There's not really a reason against it. I don't know why they haven't done it yet. Yeah, for me, number 2 in that list is limited tyre sets. And I think we've spoke about it so many times on stream. I think you boys and girls would like to see that as well, because, yeah, it can only make it better, in my opinion. And adding strategy to endurance racing is always great. So why not? All right, number 3 on my list is probably something that isn't requested that much, but I think could make quite a bit of a difference. And again, it's something that does really happen. And that is brake fade. It happens in real life endurance racing. You'll see after a certain amount of time, maybe 12 hours in, you'll see a lot of teams do end up needing to change the brakes on their cars. I see that's especially a thing in GT3s, whether it's more of the thing in LMP2s or GTPs, you'll have to let me know in the comments. I'm sure they are. But brake fade is a thing. It happens on the ACC as well, actually. You can actually change your brakes, and it just extends one of your pit stops. I think it'll be a good little thing to implement into the endurance race as well. Sorry, it's very endurance heavy at the moment, but I do like my endurance racing on iRacing because it's very good. But yeah, I think brake fade would be pretty good. I think it'd be a great thing to implement into the sim. I can't see, again, why it would be so difficult. Just, you know, after X amount of laps or whatever, the brake pads just start to wear slightly like they do tyres. You know, the percentage will slowly go down the more you use the brakes and going into braking zones and stuff. And you'll just have to extend the braking zone slightly. And it will just be such a slow and gradual process. You'll almost forget that it's actually kind of happened until you do end up changing your brake pads or whatnot about halfway through the race. And you're like, wow, where's all this performance come from? And again, it will just add strategy to it. When do you do it? Do you do it once in a race, or do you do it twice? Is it worth changing it twice during the race for, you know, that improvement in braking performance compared to others? And could you make up that time going into pits and changing the brake pads or whatever? Could you make up the time on the track by being quicker because you've got better brakes? Who knows? But listen, again, it happens in real life. I think it could be quite easily implemented into the sim. Yes, it would be a new feature, but I don't think it will be too difficult to do, because I really do think you'd only really need to change it once, and it would be very much like the tyres where it would just gradually fade. So I don't see it being too much of an issue. I think it is a feature they could definitely add to the sim, and I think it would be a good one as well. I really, really do. So not one that's particularly talked about too much, but I think it'd be class. Okay, coming in at number 4 on my list here is actually not so simple as the previous ones, and that is a new graphics engine. I love iRacing, and I'm sure many people watching this video love iRacing as well, but I think it's clear to see that graphics-wise, we have fallen behind quite a bit now. It's not a bad-looking sim, but if you try and compare it to, I don't know, your ACCs or your Gran Turismo 7s of the world, you do look a little bit silly. It is quite far behind where it comes to the graphics side of things, and I would like to see a new graphics engine, because we've been running on the same one, I believe, since 2008, and yes, the team are doing fantastic in terms of just improving it every 12 weeks. It does get a little better every single time. But overall, I think it really could do with an overhaul, quite simply, because it is quite simple, it's quite outdated, and it could really just do with a refresh to really just show the sim racing world that yeah, iRacing might be a sim and it's very much focused on the physics side of things, but it's also a beautiful sim as well, and it can look the mutts nuts, shall we say. And it'd be nice to give sims like Gran Turismo 7 and ACC a run for their money. Now, listen, I'm not stupid. I know that's, you know, a million miles away right now. And, you know, if you've been reading the patch notes and stuff, or the notes we get every week 13 or whatever, they have mentioned that they're working on a new graphics engine and it should be vastly improved. Now, I think lots of people worried if they do change the graphics engine or whatnot, it will change the feel of the sim. But as long as it's just the graphics side of things, I think we'll be absolutely fine. And I would just really love to see some upgraded graphics, to be honest with you, because it's really a shame. Because if you sometimes when you watch like clips of Gran Turismo 7 and stuff, it does look absolutely stunning. And if that thing can run on like PS4 hardware, which I think it can, that came out in what, 2013, it's, you know, 12-year-old hardware, then we've not really got an excuse. We can get it done. I'm sure we can get it done. So for me, number 4 on the list to kind of just take this sim to the next level, it would be a new graphics engine. That's for sure. And then lastly, on my list, what I would like to see implemented into the sim is actually live stewarding for special events. Now, I'll be honest with you, this is probably the most ambitious of them all. And you're probably thinking, why is that? Well, if you take a look at, let's say, Daytona, for example, I believe we got, what, over 50 splits in this season's Daytona, the most successful, most participated special event ever. Could you imagine trying to have stewards for 50 plus splits? You know, you're going to need at least a team of 4. And even then, when you protest someone or whatnot, they can counter-protest it, and it would just be a bit of a nightmare. But I do think the sim would be better for it. If we can't do it for all splits, maybe try and give people some incentive, shall we say, to try and get in the higher splits. Let's just say, you know, the top 5 splits for the special events get live stewarding, where you can actually, you know, protest someone straight away, and maybe they can counter it back or whatnot, or give live penalties as the event is going on. It would certainly stop things, a lot of things that go on in top split, to be honest with you, because many things in that kind of split get a little bit unpunished, I would say, for what they are. Maybe if there's this sort of implement or the system in place where people kind of get punished on the go for doing such naughty actions, shall we say. Yeah, it would be nice. Maybe it will just kind of make you want to stay a little bit more, knowing that you will get punished, and that maybe it would improve the driving standards as well. Because let's be frank, there's not really any sort of punishment if you take someone out in, let's just say, a special event. So for me, I would love to see some sort of live stewarding system in place for the higher splits. You know, you see it sometimes when well, you saw it in 24 where Nim went into the top split of the Nürburgring 24-hour race, and yeah, started putting the rules in there. But I'd like to see a system where there is something's in place, you know, like there's like an official iRacing Discord or something, where the top 5 splits, you know, can put in protests or whatnot, and then there is some stewarding that happens. Or maybe they don't even need to put in protests. You know, there are stewards watching and they can do that. Is it a tall order? Yes. Is it going to happen? No. I very much doubt what happened. Maybe one day in top split events, because that really should be a thing. Yeah, those are my top 5 things I'd like to see implemented into the sim. The quality of life changes, improvements that can be done and should be done, but will they be done? Who knows? If you've got any other ideas, let me know in the comments and share it, I guess. So maybe the iRacing devs, maybe some of them are watching. Who knows? But anyways, thanks for watching. I know I've been rambling on a little bit in this video, but I've been playing iRacing for quite some time now, and these are just my thoughts on what could really just push it to the next level. Anyways, I've been Basic Ollie. If you've enjoyed the video, hit the like button, subscribe on the way out, and I'll catch you for the next one. Take care. Ta-da.